What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Weekend Golfer, the podcast where everyday golfers just like you and me, we get our voice. And if you're somebody again that just enjoys playing once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, whatever the case may be, then this podcast and specifically this episode is also even for you as well. Today, we'll be doing something a little bit new. Something I'm a little excited about today. We're adding a little bit of a different segment, which is going to be called Round Recap. So anytime that I go out or I'm able to actually go play around, what I want to do is kind of give you guys a quick recap of what happened, kind of break down some things, kind of like every average athlete does after they go out and perform. We don't necessarily get an opportunity to watch tape. Well, in this case I might, but I didn't film. But you watch tape, you watch film, you watch all that stuff to kind of think about what can you do to be better. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to review our round that I played maybe a couple weeks back at Sunset Golf here in Charlotte, and it's going to be a good one. So we're going to talk about the good, we'll talk about the bad, and anything that I might have learned while I was out there. So you guys stay tuned. All right. So getting into what we had going for the round. So to kind of quickly set the scene for you guys, it was actually New Year's Day, which was a pretty warmer day than what we would normally get. Well, at least in North Carolina, it's a decent type of day. But me and my dad went to go play at Sunset Hills Golf Course in Charlotte, North Carolina. Was trying to play as much as we could. We started, I think our tee time was at 2:30, so we had basically a race against however many holes we can get before it got dark. The course itself also had a policy because of the daylight savings time. They wanted all golf carts in back at the pro shop by 5. So we're kind of just really seeing how many holes we can get out of it. We agreed to try to at least push to we should be able to get 9. So we did. We actually managed to get like 12 holes done, I think, before we had to get done. But played 9 holes, typical weekend golfer round, no practice, no warm up, anything like that. Like literally showed up at 2:25, got the bags ready, got them on the golf cart, paid, and now we're on the tee box with some other guys. We got paired with 2 younger guys that were just playing like a scramble. They had just started playing maybe 6-7 months ago at this point, so they're really new to the game of golf. So, but and you guys can see the full scorecard. I've posted it on my TikTok as well. But basically shot a 43 on the front 9. Not the best, but not the worst that I've done. Definitely not the worst. But kind of walking you through. So, and I'm using my 18 Birdies app, which actually is the app that I usually use whenever I'm playing. I've looked around to see some more apps, but if you got a recommendation, let me know about which app is new to use for your golf tracking. So, but number one, from our tee area, we played from the whites. I think they only have 3 tees as well. So we played from the whites. Actually, let me update this to the men's white. But okay, so we played from the white. From the white, it makes it 365 yards. My tee shot was not too bad. Ran right off a little bit to the right side. I think it went roughly, based off of the trees that I'm looking at, we were right at about the 256 mark, which left me a pretty short chip in. Problem was I ended up, I think the first chip went short, it went long. The chip that I had went long. The green didn't hold. It went to the backside of the green and rolled off. So now I'm playing it back on. So this is my shot 3, trying to play back on. Ended up 2-putting that hole and had to make a 5. So right off the bat, the one thing that I kind of learned with that is, the biggest thing I learned really even from this round collectively is that chipping is pretty decent, but putting really needs more work right now. Driver, I've started to fix some things and trying to be more consistent with that in my last couple of days in the simulator. But the getting on the green and putting is probably my big focus point right now. So, but like I said, we were not necessarily on. Chipping eventually got better as the day progressed, but putting was a bit of a struggle. So that was hole 1. Hole number 2, again, from where we teed off, is right about 464 yards. This one's kind of a dog leg to the left. The interesting about this hole is that it's downhill. So your tee shot, you can't see it after a certain point because it drops down to the hill. What you really want to do with this shot is play it to the right side of the fairway because it gives you a better angle, because there's a chunk of trees that if you land anywhere between like 220 to 270 and you're on the left side, you're in the trees, and the hole is kind of catered around that. So those trees are protecting that a little bit. So what I ended up doing is putting it out to the right with the heel. Of course, I don't normally hit. I will get back and more in the simulator to kind of get more averages and more data about my dispersion rate and the average of my drive. If you guys have checked out my recent video of the driving range session, which more of those will come as well to be in a whole separate series. But with that, the consistency level, I want to, kind of get more improved. So this one with the downhill, the slope ran at about, I would say somewhere around 280, 290. Gave me a good look in. I believe it left me anywhere between like 150, 140-ish into the hole. The thing about the hole here is that if you go too far to the right, it is a big drop off of the hill, and the hole itself kind of leans to that drop off as well. So if you land on the wrong side of the hole, you're basically off the green, and now you're having to chip back uphill, which is not what you want. So I played it to the safe side, the left side of the green. Worst case, I was really trying to hit it off the green and let it run down a little bit and then stop in the green where I needed it to. I actually did land it on the green. It landed to the left, the bottom left side of the green, so I still had a couple putts in. Luckily though, this was a par 5, and so I was able to actually make a par on this one with 2 putts, but actually no, 3. No, I'm sorry. The shot that I had from the fairway on my second shot landed short off. It rolled off. I'm looking at the hole now. It rolled off, and then I ended up having to chip on safely for my 3 and then 2 putt to make a 5. So that was that. All right, so hole number 3. This is where it started to get a little interesting. So hole number 3 is a par 4. It's a short par 4. Fairly. Let me move this. I need to move the marker back because that is definitely not there. But the hole itself is 263 yards, par 4. This one now is flipping back uphill. The interesting thing of this one is it bends a little bit to the left. The middle of the fairway actually is downhill, and then it comes back up. So very interesting kind of holes. I'm sure curious as to what this land used to be before it became a golf course. But with this one, try to take 3 wood off the tee. I believe my 3 wood went into the trees on the left side. So it's that same patch of trees that we saw on the previous hole. Went into the left side of the trees. Had to take a drop with my dad, so that put me on shot number 3 to get on. I ended up getting on the green, but it was on the back side. I hit my I had a chip. It was chipping onto the green. So again, second shot went above the green again, so too far, basically. Chipping back on the green, and a couple putts, but the problem is with that drop shot that put me at a 6. So it was not a fun day in the office on that hole. That was probably the first one that I was like, and I think that's key, because it's always one of those type of holes that we start to kind of question, or we get frustrated. And one of the biggest things that I'm trying to push this year in my golf game is just to make sure that when those moments happen, being able to have enough, mental strength and capacity to be able to just say, okay, that's what happened. How can we fix it? Let's move on to the next hole. Let's make this next one better. Like, not getting frustrated and letting one hole ruin your round, but instead just resetting your mind, taking a deep breath, and being able to just say, okay, that was that hole. We can come back next time and try to beat that hole better the way we just did. But nonetheless, let's figure out how we can make the rest of this round better. So that was kind of my mindset as we moved over to number 4. So at this point, though, we've made a bogey on 1, we've made par on 2, and now we've made a double bogey on number 3. So at this point, we're already, I believe, 3 over, if I'm not mistaken, through 3. So neither here nor there, is not going as best as we want. So number 4, Number 4 is a par 4. It is 308 yards. This one has a big pond, like right at the very bottom, front of the tee box, but it's downhill, so you can see the water, but it's nowhere near in the range of what you're going to hit. This one, I had a really good low, kind of stinging 3-wood shot that did run up very close to the fairway. My 3-wood is actually. I was pretty impressed at how well this went. Again, another thing that I want to get more in a consistent capacity with, but I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, I'm 100%, actually it might have been my driver. I don't know. I should have made notes when I did this, but either way, the ball went up to right at about 250 or so, which left me pretty short of a chip in to get in. I was able to get a nice, chip onto the green, and we actually made a 1-putt. So we actually was able to birdie this hole. I'm not even joking. I know a lot of people sometimes will think, oh, you made a birdie. Nobody was there to see it. I don't have proof of it. I will get there. It is not the easiest to try to record all the golf rounds, especially when you're playing rounds, so I'm having to be particular about that. But trust me when I say, my dad can vouch for me. I made a birdie on that hole. No captain's choice. Everybody was playing stroke play. So, but at this point, though, we're back to one over. So, again, that small thing of just making in my mind, okay, yes, I just double bogeyed that last hole, but that was the last hole. Let's focus on this hole. Let's do what we need to do on this hole. So then we move on to the number 5, the 5th hole. So with this one, we were right at, I think this one sits, so from what 18 birdies is saying, this one sits right at 300 yards. So at this point, we're pretty much halfway through the round. Played this shot fairly terrible. My tee shot, I was able to recover really well on this one, but my tee shot, I think I did driver, but I realized like this is a thing that I would always encourage people to do. If at any moment on your tee shot, if you feel as if that something is off, I don't care if it's the slightest little thing, like a bug flew by your the ball or something, and your focus switched to the bug. Like if any of that happens, like something that small, I mean, of course something major happens, then do what you need to do. But if something small happens, back up off the back out of address of the ball, just back out and recalibrate a little bit. Because this was one of those moments that I felt like I should have, but I was like in the back of my mind also thinking, well, we're trying to get through this round as quickly as possible. Was not necessarily the best case, because I realized when I looked down at my tee, I use a specific tee because I always use it has like a little line on it, and I use I thought I had one up here, but I use the line to kind of basically pinpoint where I want my ball to sit because it works out best for me. So what ended up happening, I realized the tee looked a little higher than what I normally wanted it to, and sure enough, I ended up kind of floating one in the air, and it didn't really go that far. From what I am marking with the 18 birdies, it said based off of the spot that I remember it being, was right at about like 111 yards. So nobody wants a driver that goes 111 yards and thinks that there's going to be a good day. So we're already on shot number 2, and I still have like 170 yards left to go to get on this green. So, but again, the same thing, or the same process with trying to set my mind in a different capacity happened here. Reset it, recalibrated, just focused on using my 6-iron to get where I needed to go. I was just thinking, let's get it close, but if we can go for the hole, let's get it close, let it run up a little bit. Greens are not really that big at Sunset, so let's just kind of get it close, see if it runs up. What ended up happening is I actually hit a flush 6-iron and got it, like it was like what I would call a TV shot. Like it's the ones when you watching PGA Tour live or whatever the case may be. You're watching it, the camera, people are following it in the air, and then it lands on the green and it looks like it's close. Like that was what it looked like. It was a really good 6-iron shot. It's probably the shot that I'm the most proud of, because I felt like everything worked correctly, and we all have those moments when everything works purely and the shot looks great. Landed on the green, left myself a decent putt to try to make a birdie, and from what my scorecard says, and it's accurate, what I will let you know is that on hole number 5, that birdie putt did not fall. Managed to make par on number 5, but wanted that birdie. But again, we're still fine. We're only 1 over at this point. It's not too bad. All right, just know, again, I said earlier at the beginning, I made 1 birdie and I made 2 pars. So far, I've already said what I've done. That was the birdie on the last hole, and this was the second par on number 5. Rounds happen like this, it's all right. But from here on out, everything was a bogey or plus, which is how I made a 43. So we get to hole number 6. Hole number 6 is a kind of a downhill par 3 that, for one, this golf course is very open. So it kind of helps. It's wide open golf courses can either help you or destroy you, because you see so much, like you're not really able to tunnel vision into certain things. But some people, it makes it easier, because if you hit wide shots, you have space that you still can operate and hitting the ball. But I say that because this hole particular has like a pretty wide open space area. So hole 6, 145 down here, plays roughly at about like 139. If the flag's in the middle, this one was slightly in the middle, kind of towards the front. So I was playing about 130. I decided to take a pitching wedge. Pitching wedge looked really good. Hit it off the tee. It was floating. It looked great. There's a bunker to the left side of the green that's sitting like between the middle and the front side of the green. My shot landed just right of the bunker, but short of the green. So not necessarily enough club, which I was like, okay, need to fix that. So had to chip on. Chipped on for that. Again, putting though was not the best. So again, this is a par 3. Hit a tee shot, did not make the green, fell short of it. Chipped on, that's already 2. I missed the par putt, ended up making a bogey, so that's a 4. Not the best for hole number 6. But moving on, right at hole number 7, trying to erase the bogey again. Have a nice, good tee shot on number 7. Number 7 is about 280 yards. It bends to the right, but it's wide open outside of a chunk of trees that don't have any leaves on it right now. But a big little wide open space. Once you get past that tree area, that fairway just opens up, but it also slopes downhill to like this little water bank that they have, another little pond that's out there. So what I ended up doing on this one is I took my 2-iron, which is pretty much what I try to do, because you can't see the green unless you can hook it enough or control it enough. I don't even want to say hook, but unless you can control it enough to hit a nice little fade over that and kind of get close to the green, then you work with it. But took my 2-iron, hit it about right at about the 188 time, like somewhere around the 180 mark. Little Duffy one. I didn't hit it flush. And the thing with my 2-iron, it's the TaylorMade Gapper Low. If you do not flush it, your miss hits are like, you'll know. And so, but that has been one of my trusty dusty golf clubs. But hit it anywhere between like 188, 191, somewhere around there. And had a decent downhill approach shot, but the problem was the ball went across the cart path. So I'm playing back into kind of the green a little bit. Played my 52, hitting at about 60-ish yards, somewhere around there. Hit it up, hitting it short. So again, this is a par 4, hit it short, so we're already on 2. Chipped on for 3, still had the 2-putt, and unfortunately, based off of my 18 birdies, oh, actually, no, 7. No, we 3-putted that one, because that was a 6. So again, putting was the biggest thing that I learned today on this round that needed to improve. I can get on there, but if I can putt in one, no matter if it's on birdie or par, if I can make one stay around 2 putts, then that's great. But we ended up making a 6 on number 7 due to some not good play on that hole. Moving to number 8, almost finishing this up, moving number 8, we played an uphill par 3 at about 134 yards. This tee shot I do remember specifically. At 138, I think it was playing roughly at about 140 with the upslope. With this one, I kept somehow I believe the face was not closed enough. The face came open, and so I ended up hitting my tee shot to the close to really, if not on the tee box for number 9, which was, if you like, I'll put screenshots in this if you're watching this on YouTube so you can actually see like the area per se. Hit that one to the right, did not really get where I needed to on that one. So now we're playing back on. Played a chip shot. The chip shot fell short of the green. So again, now we're on 3 and hadn't even got to the green. Hit on for 4, managed to 1-putt for a 5. So at this point, it's like, okay, we're not doing good, but there's a lot of things that we need to fix. A miss shot on like a tee box can just change the whole hole, and then like, trying to reset my mindset for this last hole. So getting to the last hole here, number 9, hit a tee shot. This one is about 330 yards. At this point in my mind, I'm like, well, this is the last hole of the day. Let me just, get back on my driver and let's just see what we can do. So what ended up happening is I actually pured a drive that I don't oftenly normally do, but I kind of just focused on, I just wanted to be straight. And the problem that I was a little bit nervous about is on this hole, there's a small little creek that runs through. If you hit anywhere to like 250, so like it really kind of prevents you to hit a driver. 250, there's a small gap of a creek that falls. So unless you can clear that, you may not get across. So I'm hitting my tee shot. It actually cleared and just fell on the other side. At best, I'd say somewhere around 260, 265, which was a really good tee shot. Again, this is par 4, so at this point, 260, I had about 75-ish, 74-ish, somewhere around that ballpark, to finish the hole. This one we ended up with a 5, so if I'm not mistaken, I chipped up. I believe the chip fell short. Either short or, actually no, it went long a little bit. The chip it was high and it went long, so I ended up having to chip back on the green and ended up one putting for a 5. So again, finishing up that round with a green in regulation. Let me see if I can actually see the picture. Green in regulation percentage of 44.4. Fairways hit of 42.9 based off of like where I was hitting my shots and logging in on 18 birdies. So again, recapping this round to give you guys kind of like a shot by shot, almost segment by segment type of thing. And I will say, like, the biggest thing that I felt like I've learned, the biggest takeaway that I have right now is putting, for one, needs to be updated. That's the main thing that I want to work on. But also hitting all of my clubs as consistently as possible to get back into that familiar feeling with them. That's the biggest thing that I want to get to. The mindset of golf, like, I feel like if you go in with a good mindset starting off and you're able to talk to yourself in a way to helps you calm down and not get too high or too low, can be really good and really beneficial as you play your round. So that's the round recap of the 9 holes that I played at Sunset Hills. More golf courses that I will be playing, obviously, and want to bring you guys actually some content of actually playing the full rounds as well. So you guys stay tuned for that and make sure you're following on all platforms to see it. Hey, I want to let you in on a secret. First and foremost, we all know golf clubs, golf everything, anything golf related, it's expensive. But it doesn't have to be, because if you're using Cactus Golf Club, it doesn't even have to be at all. So I just want to let you know, for $5 a month, you get access to discounts on all your favorite apparel, your favorite accessories that you use when you go play golf. If you want to look real nice on the shoe game, you get a discount on your shoes. Golf balls as well, because we all know we be losing those. And all the latest golf tech. So if you're always buying your golf gear and you're like, why is this stuff so expensive? I got a deal for you. So I want you to use this link, cactusgolfclub.com/CMiller, and for $5 a month, you get major discounts, saving almost up to average of about $200 a year on all of your favorite golf apparel, your favorite shoes, golf balls, anything that you need. You got to be using Cactus Golf Club. So the link's down below. All right. So with that round that we, were able to complete out, just wanted to kind of do like a full closing kind of recap sort of thing. So my biggest thing, so like if you are playing around and you have like a specific round that just feels bad or whatever the case may be, things that I want to make sure that you're kind of thinking about as you play around. First and foremost, always throw your mind back to the good shots. Don't worry about the shots that you, like if the round started to go bad, don't worry about the shots that you were struggling with or something that may have changed, but start with the good first. Like, think of all the good shots. So like for me, that on number 5, I believe it was, I don't know, 6, playing that shot, I can't even honestly remember what hole it was, but playing that 6 iron, that we just talked about, that 6 iron shot made me feel really good because it was the one shot that fell flush. I had a good drive on the last hole. We had a birdie putt that actually fell. So like, remember those good ones, because it shows what you're capable of. That I think that's what most people don't pay attention to when we're out on the golf course, is that we see so much of the bad sometimes, especially as that weekend golfer. We see so much of the bad shots that we can't focus on the good. So as you go back through your round, or as you think back through it, think about those good shots that you hit. What worked well? What felt really good when you played that shot? Or maybe you had a swing thought, or maybe you said, hey, I'll play this a little bit to the right, and it worked out. Like, I don't care how small it is, but think of the good shots first. And then in any good film session for any of my athletes, or any good, review of any type of corporate work or project, you review the stuff that needs to be improved. So like for me, I knew that putting is one of the things that I'm really going to start pushing the focus on, to get a good feel of my putter, to be confident with my putter, to know that I can probably get it within a certain amount of range, and feel confident that I can make that putt. Also the consistency. It was, of course, the first few rounds of the day. Well, I've only played one round of this year so far, as we're on January 22nd at the recording of this video. But with that, just getting as many times as I can, getting my golf clubs in my hands, even if I'm not actually going to hit a ball, just getting the same familiar feeling with what I want to happen. Getting consistent with it, and as being as comfortable as possible with every single club that I have in my bag. Also, if there was a shot that happened that just was bad, like think through what all that you felt in that, if you can. What went wrong? Like maybe a moment that you got impatient. I will say there's things that happen on the golf course. We all have pet peeves. I'll be really interested to actually hear about what your biggest pet peeve is, which I'm actually going to talk about here in a little bit. But like, we all have those things that kind of distract us. So find the best way to be able to reset yourself and shift your mindset a little bit, to kind of just recenter, what I call it, recalibrate, get you set, focus on what you're trying to do, and take care of business. I mean, just like, I feel like sometimes we over complicate golf to where we can just make it as simple as possible, of saying, I just want to hit this in the square of the face. And if I don't feel that, okay, let me think through what I did wrong. But like, I feel like sometimes we can just make it as simple as possible. It's the KISS method. Keep it simple. So I would say think of the good, the bad, but then also think about the things that, that just could be like, okay, what can I improve on? Or maybe what's one thing that this taught me throughout the entire round. Like, look at the good shots, the bads, but then what's the overall round? What's the overall feeling that you get from the round? Did you enjoy it? Anytime I go play golf with my dad, I enjoy it. Like, at the end of the day, we have conversations, we trash talk each other consistently throughout the golf game. So honestly, that kind of helps me in some ways. But we have a good time. We enjoy it. Think about the round itself. What did you enjoy? What did you really appreciate in that moment as well? So I think those are just good things to focus on in your round recaps. What was good about the round, what was bad, but then think about the round overall. What worked well, what didn't work well, and what are some things that you can take to move into the next round that's going to be beneficial to you. And I think if you use that method, you'll enjoy your rounds a lot better, but you'll also start improving a lot faster as well. All right. One thing that I wanted to hit on just right quick, and I'm really kind of curious as to what you guys' thoughts are. So one thing I want to know, leave it in the comments below for sure, but what is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to when you go play golf at like public courses? You probably like, you may see some things, maybe if you have access to a private course. I don't know. I've been to a few, but I haven't been to a lot of private courses, and I've never found anything at a private course that has, or like a membership based country club type course that has made me feel like, ooh, that's annoying. But in your typical public course, like, what is the one thing that is like a big pet peeve for you? One of the big ones for me, I have a few. I'll mention two of the bigger ones. So number one, the biggest one that I have, and I don't know how many people may agree to this. If you do, like this video. If you don't, just comment and tell me if I have a different one. The biggest pet peeve of mine is when the tee box out, and granted, I don't know what the jobs are for the grounds people or whatever they do, but when the tee box has a whole bunch of either broken or tees that are just laying around all on the tee box, and they're all in the space where the tee markers are. The reason why this is a pet peeve of mine, because that I find that more common to be the thing that has to make me recalibrate or reset, because I'm lining or getting it set up to in position and addressing the ball, and then I step on a tee in the ground, and it just throws me out of whack. So then I'm like, okay, now I got to reset, pull that out the tee, and now I'm taking more time because I need to reset myself a little bit. And I don't know what can happen, but I can tell you the easiest thing can be if you know you broke your tee, and if you whether you are 1 week into playing golf or 13 years into playing golf, if you know you broke your tee, pick the tee out the ground and toss it where nobody is teeing off at. Like there's always space in the grass where it's there, or better yet, put it in your pocket and put it in the trash if you want to do that. But it's frustrating to me to like have a step and then there's a tee there, or like I put my club down and then there's like a tee and now my eye looks at the tee because it took my eye off the ball. Like it's like scratching those little old agendas that we used to get in high school or in grade school that had that like transparent looking thing where if you can turn it, it looks different, and it had that weird coating on it. It bothers me. So yes, please pick up your tees off the ground. I feel like everybody has the one where it's like the ball markers, like fix your divots in the green. That is annoying too when you have terrible greens that you got to put on because somebody didn't fix their stuff with the tool. But the other one that I was going to mention is when you're playing and there's a person, like there's people maybe that are behind you and they're hitting tee shots, and they either, if it's downhill or whatever, but they know they don't have a full 100% certainty that you're not where you are as far as where they're hitting, but then they end up hitting there anyway. And then it's like, okay, if you do it once, fine, I get it, I've done it before, I'm apologize. But if you're consistently hitting, then it's like, okay, now you got an agenda. Like you are not even like, either there's something going on. Either you mad about how slow we're moving, or you mad about something else about your round. But be courteous to the people that are out playing. Like I try my best to do is move game. Everybody wants golf to be quick, but at the same time, you came out here to golf, and no golf round has anything short of 4 hours. So enjoy the round. And if you take a minute, then work on something, fix something, but don't just keep pushing your ball and pushing me, because I don't feel like I'm not riding in traffic. I don't need to be feeling like I'm being pushed while you're doing that. So just be calm, play golf, make sure, have a buddy drive up to make sure that we're not in the fairway before you hit your tee shot. Like it's not that hard. You're out there, you've already paid to enjoy it, so enjoy it. No need to do that. So, but again, I'm curious, what are your biggest pet peeves? Let me know. All right, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed the round recap for today. Let me know if we need to make this a regular thing. I want to make this a regular thing after every round that I have. But let me know. Send me messages about your own round recap. If you got a confession that you learned, whether maybe a good shot, a bad shot, or whatever the case may be. But make sure you guys follow the podcast. I appreciate everybody that has been listening so far. Share it with your friends. Share it with everybody. And also, don't forget to make sure that you join the Weekend Golfer Clubhouse. It is a Facebook group that we have for everybody, every weekend golfer, where we all can connect. The clubhouse is just a space every time we go to a golf course. When you go play golf, the clubhouse, or the whatever you may call it per se, it's a spot where you can recalibrate, get your food at the turn, you can sit down, you can talk with your friends, watching sports, whatever the case may be. And that's what I wanted this Facebook group to be, is just a group of people who love the game of golf that can sit around, share tips with each other, maybe even schedule rounds with each other if you live in the same area. So if you haven't followed, the link will be in the description below, but make sure you guys are on and a part of the clubhouse as well. But again, love you guys, appreciate you all for the support. This is the Weekend Golfer, where everyday golfers get a voice, and I will see you guys in the next one.